Alright guys, we are back for another Dokkan battle video. So we've got some interesting stuff here. Right now, JP Dokkan is in maintenance, actually, which is going to end only in 2 hours from now. So again, Dokkan is in maintenance, or JP Dokkan is in maintenance. It's going to end in 2 hours, and we are updating to version 5.9.0. Now, after this maintenance, we're going to get a data download, and very likely we will begin to get some anniversary countdown stuff coming in, right? I think we can expect that the anniversary countdown would start probably on the 21st, right? Potentially go to the 28th. We could likely expect that the Dokkan Fest characters come out like the 30th or the 31st, right? That's sort of like the general time frame we're looking at here. So we could potentially in a couple of hours see some minor hints given towards some of the stuff around the anniversary, right? Now, at the moment, based upon the teaser trailers, let me actually pull this up real fast. But based upon the teaser trailers we saw from Dokkan, it does appear to be, at least to me, or I guess and a lot of others, that this could be a double Spirit Bomb anniversary, is what we could be looking at here, right? So like if we take a look at it, right, like this is sort of going through the majority of the Buu saga, right? And then right towards the end, as it gets all the way through, it sort of ends, you know, with Goku Super Saiyan 3 versus Kid Buu kind of right there. And then of course, last week we had the trailer, which is kind of leading up to Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta right here, right? This is, you know, kind of like GT in the Shadow Dragon saga. So both of those conflicts end with the Spirit Bomb, right? We have the GT Goku, as well as, you know, kind of Goku, you know, the final Super Spirit Bomb he shoots against Kid Buu. So those are very interesting considering we have finish effect right here. So, I mean, I mentioned this recently in a video, and I saw a lot of other people potentially just throwing this out as well. Like, it's not like, oh my god, I'm a rocket scientist. I mean, it just makes sense, right? Like, seems like Dokkan might kind of implement kind of like a legendary finish, or Fighters has their dramatic finish, right? Like, it's just a very common thing, right, that games would do, and it could make sense that Dokkan could have that. Dokkan sort of has, like, the KO screens, but that's not really the same thing, right? And, you know, a finish effect, I think, would really make a lot of sense considering the two big Spirit Bombs are kind of like the conclusions of the saga, right? So imagine Goku, you know, it's like some sort of Spirit Bomb Goku's, you know, the main Dokkan Fest LR for part 1, right? Easily, could be, right? You know, like Kid Buu's like the Carnival LR or some shit like that. So imagine, right, like Goku, you know, he could do the Spirit Bomb, maybe Super Saiyan 3, you know, maybe Vegeta's there or something. All these different things could happen, but like if you would finish the phase off or the enemy off, then that could then trigger, like, you know, when Goku kind of gets his energy restored by Porunga and he goes Super Saiyan and then sort of, you know, does kind of like the final, like, kind of like Spirit Bomb, like, exploding attack right there, and then ends with, you know, him and Vegeta doing the thumbs up to each other. I think that that could be very interesting to see. Again, sort of like a Dokkan finish might be like a really positive thing for the game. We'll see. Now, we also have standby skill. I mean, it's hard to say exactly what that is. I did see the possibilities that some things might be changed around, right? Potentially with how, like, active skills can work and revives and a bunch of stuff. Like we'll see, right? Like, they're definitely changing sort of a bunch of things in here, but like this could be just like a completely new ability or something like that units could have. It's kind of hard to I guess make a guess what this might be, right? Or how it might be used or something like that. And certainly once the maintenance is done and we have the data download, you know, we could begin to see assets and stuff like that, what some of this stuff might look like, right? Because typically this sort of update right here, you know, this is always when we're going to start getting, like, you know, potential, like, anniversary new mechanics and shit. And that's what we've got right here. Now this is interesting. Enemy skill status added, taking a defensive posture. So this actually makes a ton of sense to me. They could... Okay, So in 2022 with Red Zone, right, the bosses like damage shot through like into infinity, right? Like all of a sudden, bosses are going from doing like, I don't know, 700,000 damage super attacks or some shit like that to like 1.5. It was a huge jump, right? Where the best defensive characters in the game were now getting like completely cooked by Red Zone. So this could be them maybe taking the opposite approach in 2023 and maybe making the enemies have like more defensive abilities. Now, I actually think this could be very good because imagine, right, enemies could like guard or something like that, like Tech Gohan or one of these characters, right? They're very defensive and you might need crits to inflict a lot of damage to them. I think that could be really good because you guys know I've been talking a lot recently, especially I don't really give most of my characters much crit, right? It just feels like building defensive is the smarter way to go right now. And I've talked a lot about how, these full dodge builds on characters, they just seem so busted. Like, I'm expecting sort of like, Dokkan to, potentially implement a lot of bosses that cancel dodge just because of how strong it feels. But like, this could almost be like a thing where, if they're making it to where you might need crits just to really be able to penetrate like a boss guarding or something like that, that could be good, right? Like that could give extra incentive to not go like a full dodge build. Now, most people have not sort of come into the light, right? And accepted how strong dodge is. But like, I do like them kind of potentially taking a little bit of a different approach here. Rather than giving the enemy extra offense, give them extra defense, right? I think that could be very interesting. And that certainly would benefit many characters who have abilities where they really need to build up and stuff like that. Remember that there was numerous characters released who have like kind of tough conditions, right? Like Fusion Zamasu, Goku and Vegeta, Piccolo, right? Like all these characters that have to take a bunch of hits or do super attacks and stuff like that. If enemies are way more defensive, so these fights would go longer, right? That, could make a lot of sense right there. So we have that. That looks interesting. So finish activation conditions and finish effect, again, to me, could be like a Dokkan finish, which I think would work really, really well. So we also have, new strings in the APK. I guess we can kind of just see if there's anything interesting here. Oh, standby skill. Oh, yeah, we could potentially see a lot of different things change. Revival counter, charge skill gauge. So looks like we might really have some interesting new mechanics coming in with the 8th anniversary and for some of these characters. So already, this kind of stuff seems very promising to me, I think, for the 8th anniversary, right? Like, I think especially coming off kind of a negative celebration here. I mean, Beast Gohan was a huge fumble. Besides that, I mean, on the JP side of things, this was one of the better celebrations ever. It really was. Like, if you break down everything that happened, celebration was incredible. Now, global players, of course, are going to be feeling very negative for good reason. I don't think it's ridiculous to be upset about Gohan and Cell being completely in limbo. Who knows when they're going to show up, right? I totally understand the frustration with that. But like, this could be good. That we're going to kind of like, move from like a lot of negativity potentially around this last celebration and then anniversary. I mean, I don't feel like I've ever thought anniversary as a fumble ever. I feel like there's never, like, Dokkan's anniversary. Yeah, never. Because, the first anniversary I was not really around. But second anniversary, everyone loved it. And then, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, all the anniversaries were thought to be very, very good. I would say the 5th anniversary is the one that ended up kind of being the worst of all of them, but the characters were just so perfect that people don't think that, right? You ask people even now and they'll tell you they think that the 5th anniversary is kind of like the peak. So we'll see, right? We will probably get some more info, some more details. Again, probably about 3 a.m. once maintenance ends. That's when maintenance is scheduled to end. And we'll see if there's any interesting info or tidbits in the data download. I'm sure, exactly what, potentially a Dokkan finish. We could see, MILF Manor. Oh, sounds good. We could see a Dokkan finish be revealed during like a live stream and stuff like that. Either way, I'm pretty excited. So Let me know what you guys think about the potential updates we're getting here in version 5.9.0. Thanks, guys, for watching. I'll see you all at 3 a.m., and we'll see if there's anything good coming.